Welcome to Kirby Air Riders, note the S. You won't be seeing any exclusive footage or earth-shattering news in this video, but I was able to play and record the demo of this long-awaited sequel at PAX West 2025. I did get audio, but you don't want to really hear it. I went through twice to get as much footage as possible during Friday's media hour, and it was a lot of fun. The demo started with a select few entries in the comprehensive tutorial mode. First, the boost dash, which leads into drifting, flying, then quick spin, which all serve as your basic toolkit during gameplay. While I haven't replayed Air Ride in a couple of years, it felt very familiar and was easy to pick up and learn. I was a bit nervous just in general, so I made the occasional mistake like not reading the instructions, but that's on me. The special tutorial introduces and uses this game's big innovation, a second button. You can use this to attack with most copy abilities and, more importantly, activate your character's special ability. Since we're playing as default Pink Kirby in the tutorial, his special is Ultra Sword, which has him flailing around while zooming forward. While this does look like he's driving forward uncontrollably, I made sure to check, and sure enough, you can still charge boost and drift while using your special, which is quite nice. Onwards, the last bit of tutorial that we did involves breaking boxes in City Trial, hopping off and on machines, and swapping machines. During my second demo session, I finished the tutorial soon enough that I had time to look at some of the other tutorials. So you can also learn to do perfect landings, utilize inhale and capture, and grind rails as part of the basics. There's also a specific subsection on copy abilities split into proximity, projectile, and charged. I also briefly looked at the advanced sections, which covers defeating enemies to get a burst of speed, star slide, brake pumping, and sudden slows and stops. I'm not exactly sure what that was because I never looked at it. Still, I was able to feel the unbridled joy of mowing down a field of innocent Waddle Dees while on a spaceship. And if you're curious, Star Slide is this game's mechanic for drafting, aka gaining speed while driving through the wake of a nearby opponent. The rest of the demo was one 5-minute match of City Trial. Going into it, we could choose one of 12 characters. While this is no doubt the starting roster, the ending of the Air Riders direct seems to hint at least one more character, so who knows how many there will be. I unfortunately didn't hover over each character, but each has their own special ability, set of base stats, and some number of alternate color options. I was kind of more focused about picking my boy Gooey. Look at those eyes of his. There's not a single thought behind them. Now for the main event. I was a bit overwhelmed. Even though this game uses a lot of stuff from Air Ride, I was bombarded with sounds and colors and Gooey breakdancing on his tongue every time I spinned. Thanks to the power of hindsight, I can point out that I quickly found and swapped to the Paper Star, which is lightweight and flies great but is quite fragile. 30 seconds in was the first random event, in which a bunch of portals appeared around the map. While you don't get real-time views through the portals like in, well, Portal, the preview is good enough to keep you oriented until you're zooming way too fast, like I was when I got the wheel. It did get a bit disorienting, but it made for a great method of gathering upgrades. I will also note that during both demo sessions, I was kind of chatting with a representative overseeing my section, so I totally missed a giant Gordo appearing in between a few skyscrapers.
Hello.
I also failed to interact with the giant pillars. Nice. I was kind of more focused on utilizing my flight to stay away from the chaos on the ground. During this, I visited a secluded floating island above the city before coming back down and failing to bully some CPUs. Next was a mini challenge, Dust Up Derby. It was me, some CPUs, and one other player in a short battle for survival. I used my special Mock Dark Matter, but it was like trying to break through a concrete wall by throwing packing peanuts. The other player, a DDD on the Wagon Star, knocked me out, so I lost, but it's okay. I spent the rest of the time in a confused rush to collect more power-ups. Since my camera angle also captured two of the other screens, I know I gathered a respectable 59 power-ups, but I think I remember walking by and seeing some player clock in over 100, which is kinda crazy. When it came time to choose the event we wanted to test our skills, I went with target flight, which meant I was up against CPUs instead of the other players. Whoops. The other players participated in a drag race, but there was also options for Dust Up Derby, Gourmet Race, and based on the other sessions / the direct, there's also Air Glider, Skydive, Single Race, Closed Circuit, and maybe more. The events also have some amount of variance, so there seemed to be a lot of options. For my second go, I was playing as Starman, and I tackled the Kirby Melee. While I had powered up my Shadow Star with a good amount of combat buffs, I was neck and neck with the CPU until I busted out my special Super Starman. It's a bit less useful in this enclosed space because I don't really need to be flying into the air, but it did earn me another victory. Now, here's some random thoughts as we check out the prior city section with Starman that I skipped over. You'll note that a lot of the user interface looks very similar to Air Ride and a number of other games made by Masahiro Sakurai. That is very much expected and probably intended because his wife, Michiko Sakurai, has worked on all of this stuff as UI designer, and it's safe to assume that Air Riders is no different. Also, I think you'd agree, Michiko and the other graphic artists have done a fantastic job on all of these games. The rest of the visuals on display in Air Riders were also great. My camera setup led to some interlacing, but it ran at a clean 60 FPS, most likely displayed in a crisp 1080p. It felt really good to see in person. That said, I think it's interesting that the upgrades, which I guess are actually called patches, haven't really changed from the original game, aside from removing the white outline they used to have. Still, they're made up of simple designs and bright colors with a black stroke that altogether helps them be visible and readable from far away. They do clash with the more realistic and detailed environments of Air Riders, much more than they did in Air Ride, but I think that's preferred to them being unclear and hard to find. Skya, which is the name of this game city, at times felt small, but I think dense is a more apt description. With 16 competitors all packed into this small space, I was never more than a couple moments away from seeing another character, item box, or power-up, so there was always something to do. I spent many hours as a kid playing Air Ride, and most of them were in City Trial. Looking back, City Trial in that game kind of looks lifeless and boring by comparison to this new one, but still, it had a great recipe for replayability. You never know what you're going to get for the events, what stats you'll get, what crazy stuff will happen, and in this new game, they pretty much did all that same stuff. And if you're curious, you can toggle off the event voting so you can have that old experience of not knowing what you're working towards. After thinking about it, I really like that they added a toggle option for this because not knowing what you are working towards can lead to some wonderful moments, but also some real disappointments. I can't be the only one who was told to fly as far as possible while riding the slowest, hankiest washing machine you would ever see. Also, it was hard to focus on and appreciate the music in the Air Riders demo because there was a lot going on, but I really enjoyed what I heard. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with the demo. As both a fan of the original and a content creator, I was already going to be buying the game, but I am now much more confident that it's going to be a real fun time. Let me know if you noticed anything cool in the footage that I showed and I might have missed, your experience with the original game, what you're excited for, or anything else in the comments down below. All that said, outro time. Big thanks to my channel members for their support, and a city-sized thanks to Shay Shay for being a super fan. If you like this video, be sure to like, maybe subscribe, and why not check out some of my other Kirby videos. I should note I did cover Air Ride some years back, focused on its glitches and all the wacky stuff that you can get up to with its very simplistic mechanics. So check that out if you want. That's it for this one. Bye-bye.